evolve, the planets will solidify, cool down, become solid. And then, of course, what happens next is the evolution of flora, which is air, water, and the plants and so forth, and all the million different forms within nature begin to evolve. Important to note, though, that all throughout nature, as all of this food kingdom, if you want to call it that, starts to be evolved over billions of years that will take, the logic of the universe is being used here in every step of the way. Every time a plant is evolving and being created, it is being done so with the logic that was provided originally by the creation, that embodied idea that is still the original map or idea that's causing everything to work. My point simply is to keep clear all throughout that there is definite logic and understanding to what the universe is doing, and that it is following exactly, as the Pleiadians are telling us, these levels of 7 stages of development all of the way through, and this also man will mimic and follow this same level of same stages of development that the universe is doing. After the food kingdom, of course, has evolved, since the universe is not totally stupid, you have to have food before you can have animals who eat food. So once that the universe understands through the knowledge of creation, exactly at this point you can start seeing where a creation and a universe are really the same thing. A creation, what Pleiadians call the original idea to create a universe, actually is, but all throughout this creation then basically is the fine matter energy which creates a universe. Okay? So creation and universe start to become kind of synonymous here as this thing, and for the rest of the explanation it really will become the same thing, because creation is an idea that grows into being a universe. At this point now, the logic of creation has understood how to make the food kingdom. It has the idea of life, and it has learned that first it must create food so that there can be creatures to eat it. Fauna, which is the animal kingdom, comes along, and of course the animal kingdom now is an entirely different level of spiritual energy. It is a different level. It's following the 7 levels of development that are established within the matrix of the universe or creation itself. And each one of those 7 levels is broken down to 7 other levels with 7 subgroupings under that. So in the Pleiadian science, they've been able to map out entirely all these different levels of development of the creation itself. And through time travel and knowledge from other races, they've learned to understand each incremental step that a creation goes through in its evolution. Because this original idea of creation is doing exactly that. It is an idea that is evolving. Probably not so much different than just an idea that each one of you may have at any given moment. That idea is set in motion. It does not just die out. All of your thoughts and ideas have life to them, and when concentrated and thought on hard enough, they are manifested in greater and greater energy. And even us little humans can think to the point that we can cause creations, that we can create matter to actually happen. Because matter is nothing more than the following through of a logical idea. At the point that it's necessary or logical to create the animal kingdom, then creation does that. It has the idea, then creates the energy, forms to create the animal kingdom, which are coarse matter beings. Nature reacts differently than the humans do. After the animal kingdom has been evolved and goes to a certain point of stage, there gets to be a point in the stage of development of the creation then where logically it can't create human life. And there's quite a bit of difference between the human life and the nature life. Humans evolved naturally out of the dead animal tissue in plants. There's a mixture. Scientifically, that's how it actually works. When the fine matter gets to the point of understanding and knowledge where it can create a human being, that's how it does it. The first human being on a planet where the life acids and so forth are correct around a certain kind of sun where it's possible for human life to develop, that's how it is done. The knowledge is provided by the fine matter energy of creation. The coarse matter provides the body material for the first human being to be born, and that is done through an understanding of the mixing together of dead animal tissue and plants. So humans are a spirit form that have come out of the idea of creation. We were created then through the logic of the creation, creating this thing we call a universe in logical steps. So there's a part piece of creation in all of us, and that part piece is an understanding of what the creation is. We are connected to it because we are a spirit form which is derived from the spiritual energy which is creation. Humans are totally separate from the flora and fauna kingdoms. We have no connection with the animal kingdom or the food kingdom. You were never a plant. You were never an animal of any type. You are a separate level of evolution, just as the plant kingdom, the flora kingdom, has its limitations. When the idea for the flora kingdom to be evolved, it has a beginning level of evolution and it has a high level of evolution. It can only evolve to a certain point. The same with nature. It's a different kind of spiritual energy. It has its levels of evolution also. It has a low level of evolution that is necessary to be attained on a planet before the animal kingdom can naturally evolve and become into existence. And it can only evolve so highly. Animals can never evolve to the points that humans can. We are a different kind of spiritual energy because human forms, spirit forms, can evolve into what's called perfection, which will be explained a little bit later on. In other words, the human being is capable of evolving to a much higher level than an animal can. An animal has limitations. An animal spirit is different. As we'll discuss a little later, it reincarnates differently on a different time schedule and works differently than the human form does. So be comfortable. You were never a flea, a dog, or a snake, or anything like that. Okay, but it was necessary for our planet to evolve naturally through these levels of evolution before it was possible then for the human being to evolve on his own. So man then begins to develop and evolve. Words are formed into language. We go through our very simple steps of evolution, and then man comes in and develops to the higher forms of perfection. In our galaxy, which we call the Milky Way, originally in our galaxy, it has been learned by the Pleiadians through association with other races, that originally in our galaxy, when it formed a long time back, there were a little over 44 million different planets where human life, as we know it, evolved naturally on its own. Now, there are countless numbers of sun systems and planets in our Milky Way. But originally, left alone, there was 44 million planets, similar to Earth, where there was the necessary acids, atmosphere, environmental control, suns, and so forth, necessary for a man to evolve. That happened. Of this 44 million, it has grown greatly, because the galaxy itself is quite old. They have now learned that there are 343 variations to the human form that they have discovered. This is variations in fingers, toes, size, bone structure, eyes, nose, so forth.